Hello friends, today we will start from how website works. The first point is the user opens the web browser. After opening the web browser, what a user will do, he will enter the URL into the address bar. Suppose user want to visit Facebook, then he will enter the URL as www.facebook.com for example. Once the user enters the URL, now browser create one request of entered URL, and that request sent to the DNS server. A DNS server is a server that finds the IP address of entered URL. For example, if we consider that a user entered the facebook.com, then this DNS server will find the IP address of the Facebook website. Once the IP address is found, DNS server will create one response. Uh, this is the next point. DNS server finds the IP address. Once the DNS server finds the IP address, it will send a response to the browser. That is the IP address that is find out by the DNS server will send to the browser. Now browser makes the new request known as HTTP request, and that HTTP request is sent to the web server. So now in next point, request reach to the server through the internet. So once the our request HTTP request reach to the server receives the request and it will start executing. To execute that particular request, the first thing that server need to do is need to find out need to search the requested web page. So server receives the request and search for the requested web page. If web page is found, it is executed on the server, because or the page that we are executing, we want to display may contain some code. So for example, PHP code. That PHP code needs to be executed. So that code, the page will be executed on the server. Now, once the page is executed, server will prepare one response known as HTTP response, and that response of output will send to the client in HTML form. Once the HTML response is reached to the client, the client browser receives the response and displays it to the client. So this is how the website works. Now next point is the same point is explained with the example. Suppose a user is browsing the internet and types the netflix.com. Suppose user want to open the website netflix.com. So what you client will do? He will enter the netflix.com on browser. The result is a request to DNS server for the IP address of netflix.com. So now once you enter the netflix.com, the browser will create one request to DNS server to find the IP address of Netflix, and then DNS server respond to this request by serving the IP address to the browser. So IP address will be find out for the netflix.com, and that IP address is again given to the browser. Now what browser will do? Browser will make a new request that is known as HTTP request to Netflix server. Netflix servers means where the Netflix website is hosting, for the content that appears on the page, such as the movie thumbnail images, the Netflix logo, and the search bar. Netflix server delivers this to the browser, and browser loads the page onto the client device. So this is explained with the example. Now let us look at how we can install PHP and MySQL in our system. Okay, to work with PHP, to run the PHP web pages, there are three important components that we need to install in our system. Okay, the first thing that we need is web server. The second thing that we need is database, and the uh, third thing that we need is a PHP parser. So these three components we need to install in our system to work, with PHP. Okay, to install all these three components, there are two ways you can install the full three components. The first method. In first method, you will install all the components at a time. We will not install component by component. We will not install components separately. We will use a particular software known as WAMP, or also known as XAMPP, LAMP, MEMP. Using either of these software, we will install the whole PHP, that is a web server, database servers, and PHP parser. Okay, another method to install PHP is install each component one by one, that is install web server, then install database, and then install suppose PHP parser. So this is the two method to install the PHP. We will see the first method, installing using WAMP, XAMPP, LAMP, and MEMP server. Yeah, this is the easiest way to install PHP configuration. All the application servers, WAMP, LAMP, MEMP, and XAMPP is a complete package containing PHP, MySQL, and Apache server. Okay, we need a web server. Web server can be of different type. For example, we can have a Apache server. Apache is the name of web server. We can have IIS as a server also. In PHP, we will use Apache server. So if you install WAMP or LAMP or any one of these four, you will have the Apache server installed in your system. Okay, so first of all, let us understand about this all four types of servers software. The primary difference between these four server is of the operating system. Okay, for example, WAMP is used for Windows, LAMP is used for Linux, MEMP is used for Mac operating system, and XAMPP can be used for any operating system. Okay, let us see some basics about this. LAMP is meant for Linux operating system, abbreviation of Linux. The full form of LAMP is Linux. L stand for Linux, A stand for Apache, and M stand for MySQL, and P stand for PHP. WAMP is meant for Windows operating system, and full form is W means Windows, A stand for Apache, M for MySQL, and P for PHP. If we are using a Mac operating system, then we need to install MEM. So MEM is for Mac OS operating system. The full form is M stand for Mac, A stand for Apache, M stand for MySQL, and P stand for PHP. And the last one is XAMPP. XAMPP is for X operating system. X means cross-platform operating system. You can whatever operating system you are using, you can install XAMPP. Then there is no need to install separately LAMP for Linux and WAMP for Windows. You can install XAMPP for whatever operating system you are using. The full form of XAMPP is X stand for cross-platform, A for Apache, M for MariaDB or MySQL, P for PHP, and last P is for Perl. So very easy steps how to install the WAMP server. So how we will take an example of WAMP server. The first thing we need is we need to download the WAMP. There is a website www.wampserver.com. You can use this link to download the WAMP servers. Once you download the WAMP exe, you just need to double click the exe. You will see, uh, you will find out such a dialog box. Just click on the next, just press next, and then again the new dialog box will open. They will ask for the license agreement. You just click on I accept the agreement and click on the next. Then on the fourth step, e location will be prompted. The dialog box will ask for you to select the location where you want to install the WAMP server. So if you don't know anything, then just keep it as it is. By default, it will install in C drive. Next, oh, it will ask you to uh, it will ask you to where you want to put this WAMP server. In start menu folder, where should setup place the program shortcut. Means this will ask you for the shortcut. You can change the name. If you don't want to change, you can keep it as it is, because by default it will be WAMP server. So once change the name or complete the name with name, you can just click on the next. The new dialog box will appear that will ask you for auto start. This option is for auto start. If you check this checkbox and click on next, it means that whenever your computer will start, the WAMP server will start automatically. If you doesn't take this means keep this checkbox unticked, then you need to uh, start the WAMP server explicitly. And once you press the next button, it will start installing the WAMP server. Again, it will ask you to set some configuration. For example, mail parameters. uh, we are using our WAMP server for in our computer, so you need not to change this. You just keep it as it is. And here you will ask for the server name, SMTP server. It will have it will be localhost by default. You just click on the next. And at the last, in a final configuration, they will ask you for the default browser. So if you know not sure, then keep this name of the web browser as it is. By default it may be Explorer. You can select from the installed software. If you want to change the web browser, you can select here Chrome or anyone, and just click on the open. As soon as you open, click on the open button, you are finished. I mean to say, your installation is finished. Okay, the second method is installing PHP step by step. We will discuss this method of installation later on. So thank you friends, this is what we learned basic about the PHP installation. Thank you. Next topic, how PHP code is passed, we will start from next video. Thank you.